this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to The Sims 4 Vampire Amazon with the Salazar Coven. Before we begin, I want to say a very special welcome to my channel members. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it immensely. I've got to say, I am super excited by the amount of excitement you guys have for the episodes that are coming out in December. Granted, we have taken a few extreme measures to derive entertainment from our vampires, but I'm actually really excited as well as sad about where the story is going, but it's a nice change of pace from the lull we had for a bit. With, the kids moving in, the age ups, nothing dramatic happening, so I think we have relaxed enough. And this month was packed with quite a few things. But we are picking up straight after the previous episode, which is when Queen Wisteria has taken some drastic measures and announced the execution of her sister, Lady Zelda the Priestess, our champion, Lady Soul, and the Broodmother, Lady, Rowan. I'm so sorry. I've got just like so many characters and so many names to remember across different series that sometimes I can have a bit of a blank moment, but I assure you, they're in there in my heart, okay? Might take me a few seconds to remember, but they're there. Anyways, everyone is dismissed. They've been dismissed. They're going around doing their own things, and I think a sense of cold dread has settled over the castle and a sense of vividness. Everyone feels like more strongly about their different roles. They're seriously going ahead and practicing their different skills. It's like everyone is having to grow up in this very short span of time because of what's happened almost for everyone else out of nowhere. Obviously for Zelda and Soul, it's been kind of brewing in the background because they've been exposed to this for a while, but everyone else was in the dark, I think it's safe to remember. And so whatever's happened over the past episode even, it's probably taking everyone in the castle and the coven by surprise. It's like they didn't even see it coming at all. So Princess Aphrodite is getting some vampiric training from her mother, Wisteria, who is happily passing these skills and whatnot along. And everyone else, like I said, is practicing various skills. We've got Saphira, who's down in the dungeon or in the training room, trying to get her fitness skill up. We have Galaxia, who's meditating in her mother's chambers. Oriana's daughter, Yuki, she is practicing her scholarly skills in writing. The only people who aren't really doing anything right now is Ciri and Lady Zora, who are tending to their needs. Now, the other person not doing anything is Oriana. She's sitting here and watching the Queen train Princess Aphrodite, and she feels a little bit angsty. Like, she can't sit here and do nothing. She wants to give the Queen advice against what she's just declared in the executions, but she knows the Queen. She knows it is not wise for her to do so at this point. With the Queen in a terrible mood, she could end up risking her life and the life of others around her. So she's trying to figure out what is going to happen. Now, I want to check her relationship with the other ladies as well. Now, she is very close to Zelda. I didn't realize she was this close to Soul, though. Rowan, not so much, but she is very, very close to Soul. They're like the best of buds. But she is quite concerned about Lady Zelda in particular. So she is going to go down to the dungeon while everyone else is occupied. Let's see, she's going to head down to the dungeon. As you can see, Saphira is training right over here. So she probably is going to ask Saphira for permission to visit Zelda, because there's no way, I mean, she might even visit Soul. There's no way that she can go past while Saphira is down here. So she's not going to be suspicious. She's going to ask Saphira for, let's see. Let us see. Go ahead and what can we do? What can we do? We'll have a deep conversation with her, and that'll be Oriana's way, Lady Oriana's way of asking Saphira for permission. Can you chat with her while she's training? I'm not entirely sure if she can. She might not. It's okay. We'll send her down. Let's just... Oh, she can fly there as a bat. That's perfect. Actually, wait a second. If she can fly as a bat, can she fly as a bat in the, like, the dungeon area where everyone else is? Let's try. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I mean, these doors are locked, so I don't know if she'll be able to. But if she can, then why not? Use your powers, right? Use your powers to make things happen. So, let's see. Oriana, can we get up and do stuff? I might have to reset her. Nope. Okay. Some of these vampires, they take a bit of time to do things. Okay, she can! Okay, guys, we've got stuff happening! She can actually sneak past Saphira. I thought initially she'd have to get permission from Saphira, but she can sneak past her. That's amazing. Okay, she sneaked past Saphira. Now, Rowan... Oriana's not that close with Rowan at all, so I don't know if she cares necessarily what's happening with Rowan. Obviously, Rowan's still part of the coven, and she's raised all of their children, so they would feel bad, but again, like I said, the vampires don't know anything that's happening. So, since she's closest to Sol, I feel like maybe Oriana's gonna go and talk to Sol first. So she's gonna sneak into the cells. And, let's see. Okay, she's snuck in. And she is going to hug Sol, first of all, to comfort her. Look how sad Sol is. Oh, guys. She's going to hug Sol, who is no doubt happy to see her. Yeah, Sol is very sad. Now, a lot of these... I don't know why. I feel as though Sol and Zelda in particular, to me, it seems as though they've been away from the main coven for a long, long time. Maybe because of all the things happening in the sidelines. I feel like they've been missing somewhere. So Oriana is gonna give Sol a huge hug to comfort her, and the first thing on her mind is gonna be, what is Queen Wisteria talking about? I don't understand what Queen Wisteria is accusing you guys of. What's going on or what's happening? So she is gonna just she's gonna discuss logic puzzles. She is gonna just delve into everything and try and make sense of the situation, I think. She's gonna try and make sense of the situation, explain to me, help me understand what's going on. This is out of nowhere. Is Queen Wisteria going mad? Like, what is she doing? So I think Oriana is going to be a little bit shocked and disheartened when she hears of what Sol has done. So I think Sol's going to explain to her that there is some truth in the accusations. Yes, there was a rebellion organized against Wisteria, but it wasn't from Zelda and Rowan. It was from Sol. She was the one who raised an army or raised some soldiers against Queen Wisteria, and she's gonna explain everything, how she went to the Creature Cradle to convince Rowan and Zelda to join this rebellion, but they said no, and that's as much as they know about it. There was nothing on their end. It was all Sol. Like I said in a previous episode, Sol is kind of happy to take the blame for everything, but in reality, she was the only one who stood up against Wisteria, so she is kind of to blame, right? Out of all of the vampires that's currently in trouble. But then, when Oriana asks her, why did you do all of this? Why would you go against our way of life? Why would you go against the Coven? The Coven's always protected each other. This is when Sol is going to tell Oriana what Wisteria was doing behind the scenes and how Wisteria was changing the soldiers into demons and how she was basically manipulating the army they had and keeping it a secret and doing these terrible, terrible things. And I think Oriana would see, look, now she's crying. She's so upset about this. She's so upset. But I think Oriana is going to sympathize a little bit because she's the only married vampiress in the coven, and she's married to Lord Art, who is not in the army. So he's kind of lucky in that regard. He wouldn't have been transformed, but the point is, there is a male vampire that has this huge role in Oriana's life. So I think she would value what happens to the other male vampires a lot more than the vampiresses who've grown without, right? So I think now she's upset. She's distraught at how everything has just changed and transformed. Everything to Oriana was perfect for a long time. I mean, the queen stood up against all the ambassadors, ended up killing them to defend Oriana's love. So this news is coming as a bit of a surprise to her. Like, how could someone we look up to so much suddenly turn against us? Especially because people in the army, they are like related to these ladies. And actually, something I forgot about, but I think one of you lovelies reminded me in the comments, was that Oriana, let's see, Oriana is, hold on a second, Nymphadora, she is the niece of Antonio. So Antonio, who passed away, is actually Oriana's uncle. So that's like hitting close to home. That was a family member that was transformed into a demon, and Soul's gonna explain to her what happened, how her commander, her trusted commander, and not only that, I'm pretty sure Antonio is the, hold on a second, let me check. This is when family trees come in useful. Let's see, I think Antonio was the father of Frederick. Yes, he was. Antonio was the father of Frederick Salazar, who is Wisteria's firstborn son, and he is the one that is going to inherit Lord Art Salazar's role as the ambassador of Willow Creek. So he is going to inherit that role. So obviously, they're connected in many ways, right? Through either blood or through inheritance. They're connected, they're related. So this is a huge, huge deal for Oriana, and this is big news for her. Now, she is going to tell Soul that then there's nothing I can do. She's going to console about death. She's going to console about Soul's death, and she's going to tell Soul that the queen has announced everyone's execution because of your actions. All the vampiresses that she thinks are involved are going to die. That includes Soul, Zelda, Rowan. They're all been marked for death, and there's no getting out of it. So I think Oriana is disappointed. She was hoping she could figure out something that, you know, they were falsely accused, and maybe she could go ahead and, like, the rebellion was a lie, it was fake, and she could somehow rescue these ladies, and maybe they could go ahead and rise against Wisteria. I don't know what she was hoping for. She was hoping for something. Now, these ladies, we also have to remember, have always been loyal to Wisteria. Another thing is, because Soul has told Oriana that Zelda had no part in this, there was no rebellion. There was no revolt from Zelda's end. So there's nothing to fight for. If Zelda wasn't raising a rebellion, then they have no reason to be disloyal to their queen, right? Especially for Zelda. And that is going to break Oriana's heart more than anything, knowing that she can't do what she thought she might have had to. So if it was real, if the rebellion was a lie and the queen had made it up to destroy Zelda, then obviously I think she would have tried her best to rise up with whoever was on Zelda's side and depose the queen at this point, because it's about life and death. But Soul's kind of disrupted her plans, because Soul's told her, well, the rebellion was real, but I was the one who was raising the rebellion, means she was like, that's treason. Okay, she committed treason against the queen. And then she's also let Oriana know that Zelda was always loyal to the queen. Zelda's not part of this treasonous act that I've done. There is no campaign to make Zelda become, like, take over her sister's throne. So there's like no legitimacy to the rebellion that Sol had, at least in the eyes of other vampires. So now Oriana is going to say goodbye to her beloved friend, and she is going to talk to Zelda. I think Sol is feeling very guilty at this point, and I feel as though Sol is almost going to beg her to try and save Zelda and Rowan. They didn't do anything wrong, it was all me. And we know she kind of went along with her act, and she followed through to the very end in terms of defeating and killing the demonic Antonio Knox, knowing that she would have to pay a price, and she was ready to pay that price. So Oriana is now going to excuse herself, and with great sadness, she is going to sneak into Zelda's dungeon cell to try and talk to her and figure out what they're going to do and give her the news. So now she's in here. She is going to jump in, and she's going to console about death for one. She's going to tell... Oh, can you not chat to her? Can you not? Okay, right. So I suppose she is telling Zelda, she snuck in here, she's telling Zelda straight off the bat, I've heard from Sol, I know everything. The Queen has ordered your execution. What do we do? What do we do? Is there a way I can save you and Rowan from this madness? And here's what Zelda is going to tell her. So at this point in time, Zelda knows that Rowan and her were faithful to Wisteria always. But she can't possibly save both of them. Sol's fate is sealed as far as Zelda is concerned. Whether or not Zelda was on her side, Sol did commit treason. Whether or not it was for a right reason, she went against their queen and the coven, and she committed treason. So Oriana really doesn't have any choices when it comes to that, and she is immensely upset. And I think Oriana wants to, she's trying to ask Zelda, like, are you sure you weren't on Sol's side? Not even a little bit. Are you sure? Because I think a part of Oriana is hoping that if Zelda jumps on that rebellion boat, then they have a reason to fight against Wisteria and save everyone. All right, that's what Oriana's hoping. But Zelda, as you can see, is insulting Oriana, and she's gonna tell Oriana off and say, what are you thinking? I've never been disloyal. Yes, we've had our disagreements, but I have never been disloyal to my sister, and I will never be disloyal to my sister, regardless of what I have against her, right? That is not the vampire way, is what she's telling Oriana. And then she's also gonna tell Oriana, well, there is no way we can save everyone, but I can save myself. And Oriana's going to be a bit confused. She's going to be asking him, well, what do you mean you can save yourself? Zelda is going to remind Oriana. She is going to remind Oriana that early on, she's going to apologize for the way she's speaking. She understands that Oriana's concerned, but they shouldn't stoop to the level of traitors to, you know, do what needs to be done. Sometimes there are casualties in the way that vampires reign, but the most important thing, more important than anyone's life, is to maintain that structure they've always had. They can't fall apart in civil war. Zelda feels very strongly about this because, remember, she's the one who discovered the aspect of the dragon, which has to do with legacy, right? And a big part of kind of her character in the beginning of the season was trying to figure out what legacy she's going to leave behind, and as a result, what legacy her sister's going to leave behind. Wisteria was also concerned about this. So for Zelda, it's important how they preserve the Salazar family, the Salazar line, and the throne, right? The political stability they have for future generations and into the future, and how that's remembered in history. So she does not want to compromise that at all. and she's gonna remind Oriana that early on in Wisteria's reign, there was a tournament that happened. There was a royal tournament that took place, and the winner of that tournament was Zelda. And if you guys remember, when a vampiress wins a tournament, the queen grants that vampiress a favor. And that favor can be used once in their lifetime in exchange for anything except the crown. So Zelda is telling Oriana, I have the favor in my chambers. Like there's a physical little card, right? That the queen gives her, like a packet she gives her, and that's a symbol of the favor. And she can give that packet to the queen and ask for something in return, regardless of what it is. And Zelda's saying, I can't save anyone else, but I can save myself. But in the state that Wisteria is in, unless I have the physical packet to remind her of her promise, she won't let me go. So I need you to go into my chambers, find this packet, and bring it back to me. So she's going to give Oriana the key to her chambers, and Oriana's job is going to be to sneak in, find that packet, and bring it back to Zelda. And then arrange a meeting between the queen and Zelda. Like convince the queen to come down and see her. So Oriana's gonna accept that. She's gonna say okay. She's gonna go and do what Zelda has asked her to do. So now that this is wrapped up, it's like 12:30 a.m. It is like in the night. All of this is happening at night, which just adds to the spookiness of it all and adds to the sense of urgency for me. But she's gonna sneak up, and I'm glad that Oriana has his bat power at this point. Actually, she doesn't even need the key. I think she could sneak into her room. She doesn't even need the key. Okay, so yeah, she won't get the key, I suppose. So we'll just lock for... Can we specifically lock for Lady Oriana? Let's see. Lock Oriana. Yeah, I'm going to do that just because I realized that Oriana has this bat ability, and it makes sense that if Zelda came in here, they would have taken away her keys and stuff, so she probably doesn't have that. Instead, just like Oriana snuck into the dungeons here, she's going to sneak into the priestess's chamber. Also, I don't think you would want to walk in to certain areas in the castle, because that would be dangerous. Now, the problem is that we have Galaxia, who's meditating in in Zelda's priestess quarters. So Oriana has to sneak in here while Galaxia is lost in meditation and quickly figure things out before Galaxia gets a sense of what's going on. It's dangerous, but she's trying her best. She wants to save Zelda because not only is Zelda her friend, Zelda, let's see, where's this? Where are you? Wisteria, Zelda. Yeah, not only is Zelda her friend, they're a little bit closer than her and Wisteria. Zelda is of royal blood, so I think that's a big deal for a lot of the vampiresses, is preserving that royal blood. They've gone for so many generations with the Salazar bloodline, and they all have a duty and a pride attached to the Salazar name. So they're loyal to the Salazar queens, but at the same time they're very affectionate of other Salazar princesses, ladies, daughters, anyone in the any female in the Salazar line. The rest of the coven's usually quite affectionate of. So I think she would want to help preserve Zelda's life as much as possible. So she is going to sneak in here, if possible. Can she even do that? I feel like she should be able to. She should be able to. Okay, there we go. She snuck in. She snuck in. And Galaxia is still lost in meditation. Thank goodness. She's very deep in meditation. Okay, so we need to find this favor that's somewhere in her quarters. So we're gonna have a bit of a look around to see where this fairy, it's a red packet that we need to find. Okay, I've got some books and scrolls, not up here, not along this end. We have the aspect of the dragons. Okay, Galaxia, the end table doesn't have anything, the mirror doesn't. Now we have this shelf, right? So we've got some books and scrolls. We've got this gem that she won from the queen for, I don't remember at this point, but something during the throne jubilation probably. We have some bottles, a crystal orb, and then in this locked portion, oh, look at that, we have the red packets. So that is the favor that Zelda was talking about. That's the favor that was awarded to her when she won the royal tournament by Queen Wisteria. So Oriana is going to take that, and now she needs to sneak back down with this envelope, and she needs to give that to Zelda. So let's go on down. Right, where are you? Where are you? She's gonna sneak back in here. So let's fly here as a bat. Oh. Come on. Come on. Let's fly here as a bat. Here we go. Okay, nice. She's back inside. That took her like an hour to get done. So good job. That was pretty quick. And now she's going to give Zelda this packet. So let's go ahead, give the envelope. This is what Zelda had asked for. Okay, there we go. So Zelda has what she needs. The only thing left is for Oriana to now organize a meeting, like convince Wisteria to visit her sister one last time before her execution, because I think the queen plans on executing them all the next morning. So Zelda, she needs to speak to the queen before that execution takes place. So Oriana is going to try her best to convince Wisteria to come down for one last visit. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you, oh my goodness, next year. The next episode's gonna come out next year, guys. This is like the final episode for 2021. That's crazy. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the turn of events, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.